Last half hour of the show on this Monday morning. Again, thanks for joining us here on Hot Mic. Sam Getzinger filling in for Dom Izzo. We've talked about Class B softball. We've talked about Class A softball. Let's turn our attention now to Class A baseball. And I want to get the preview on a team that I think is a scary contender in this weekend's Class A baseball tournament, and that is Fargo South. And to give us the lowdown on the Bruins, it's their head coach, Nathan Sillerud. Coach, thanks for spending some time on a holiday. I know it's a really busy week, but it's great to see you again.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
As I said, you guys are a scary good team, and how you are the 3 seed from the East is surprising to me. Just looking at your record and following along from the season, how would you describe this year for your guys' team?
I was just kind of comparing some stats from last season to this season, and I think the big difference maker is how well we swing the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had 6 home runs as a team last year, and 2 of those came in the state tournament last year. And through EDC this year, we're hitting 21 home runs and tons of extra base hits. So I'm comfortable with our guys 1 through 9 of like just battling at the plate and putting the ball in play, and good things will happen.
21 home runs is a wild number, is it not?
Yeah. Nelson's got 8 of those 21, so.
That's pretty good. We'll touch on Caden Nelson's stud at Fargo South in just a second. I want to go back to the East Region tournament. You and I were talking off air that it was like deja vu from last year. Got through the opening round, and then West Fargo played a great East Region tournament, fell to them by 1 run, and then beat Red River in the qualifier. Did that leave a bitter taste in your team's mouth after last weekend, and did that build some motivation for this upcoming week?
Yeah, definitely some motivation. Playing that tough game against West Fargo, it was kind of disappointing, but we knew that we played really well that game. We had 15 hits, so it was just carrying momentum into the next day and just taking care of business against Red River again. And that's the deja vu part. We walked it off against them last year to go to state, and then we beat them this year to go to state. And actually last year, first round, we played Mandan, and this year, first round, we played Mandan again. So
right back to it.
Yeah.
Tell us about that state qualifier game against Red River. What was the feeling amongst the team as they were trying to punch their ticket to state?
Well, my message to them after the loss against West Fargo was just being positive. We had 15 hits that game, so it's not like we put ourselves in a hole or we did anything really wrong. But it was just carrying momentum into the next day, and so we had 15 hits against West Fargo, so we just needed to keep doing what we're doing. And then, of course, having Caden Nelson on the mound against Red River obviously helps with 16 strikeouts and just not allowing them to really score much, and we just kept swinging the bat well and putting balls in play.
All right, you mentioned him. I want to talk about him, the Texas A&M commit, Caden Nelson. We're seeing some video of what he's done this season. I followed along throughout the year, and occasionally I'll see a box score, and I'll see Caden Nelson's stat line, and I just shake my head and smile because a lot of games it's unbelievable. What can you say about your stud over there at South?
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't hit for the cycle yet this year, but I'm just thinking of one of his most recent home runs where he just like extends with one hand and just kind of reaches for it and just somehow pokes it out for a home run. But at the plate, he is just a tough out. I think he's only struck out twice on the year. He's batting 500, 8 home runs, like 42, 43 hits or something, like just ridiculous. It's just whenever he gets to the plate, it's just like, something's good is about to happen here.
Is he a better pitcher or a better hitter in your mind?
That's a tough debate. His pitching is pretty legit because he's got a handful of pitches for strikes and he keeps it around the zones. Obviously, his velocity is good, but his bat speed at the plate too is unbelievable. The way he gets his hands through the zone so quick, and has just the ability to put almost any ball in play.
I think the fact he had 16 strikeouts in the state qualifier game says all you need to know about his ability on the mound. Was there a point with Caden that at some point, while he was coming up through the system, that you guys realized we might have something special on our hands here?
Yeah, when we got him as a freshman. Like he was probably 40 pounds lighter than he is now, and still was a tall kid, maybe through about mid 70s or so. We knew that, this kid's got some potential, but then he really took the time himself to develop himself as a player. And then we started to see that progression as a sophomore, and then even more this year, just how much work he's done in the weight room and just everything else that he's done is really shown.
What was his reaction and your reaction as these big schools were starting to get some recruiting attention going his way? And of course, now he's committed to Texas A&M.
I was so happy for him because I knew that I'd kind of been asking him over the winter, like, hey, what schools you been talking to and whatnot. And he'd named a few, and he said Texas A&M, and I'm like, well, that's the real deal, dude. Like, if you can go there, go there. So I was super excited when he told me that he got accepted there, and could be more excited.
I feel like his story is one that's becoming more rare as the years go on. When athletes of a caliber like that, they may decide to leave North Dakota and see what they can do in other states or other parts of the Midwest. But he's here right in the backyard of Fargo South. I think that just shows that you can go on and achieve great things even right here in North Dakota.
Yeah, for sure. That's the great thing about baseball. You don't have to be, the tallest kid on the basketball court to go play in the NBA or whatever. You just got to put in the work and the time and work on your game and see where it can take you.
You guys are coming off of a phenomenal season last year, and there's a lot of returning names that are on the roster this season. Henry Schrum is one of them. What can you say about his play this year?
He's been defensively one of our best. I mean, he's been our everyday starter as a catcher. He started catching varsity for us as an eighth grader. Just was kind of a scrawny kid as an eighth grader, but him too, he's put in the work in the weight room, and you should see him at practice. Like he will be the first one there, last one out, just wanting to do catcher work over and over and over again. And he just is a student of the game, and he's just so fun to watch. He just back picks guys, throws guys out with ease. He's got great pop time and a good arm strength. So,
well, obviously,
defensively, he helps.
Obviously, it's great to have two stars on your team, but it takes 9 guys on the field at any given moment. Give some flowers out. Who else is really standing out to you this season?
Tate Barnacle for sure at second base. He has been just solid. I don't know if he's made an error all year long. He'll lay his body out for any ball and just make spectacular plays all the time. Hunter Geary in center field. And then Carson Sheik, he's been kind of our utility guy, bouncing around from pretty much every position. Brander Hilmert out in left field. And Colby Eblin at short has also been doing a really awesome job.
All right, we'll be looking forward to those names at the state baseball tournament in Minot coming up this weekend. You can catch all the coverage on the networks of WDAY. Nathan Sillerud, the head coach of Fargo South, joining us here on this Monday morning. Just watching and following along with Class A baseball throughout the season, when you look at the East region, what a gauntlet that is. What can you say about competing in that loaded region that we have here in North Dakota?
Yeah, I mean, going into the season, I was telling people like the EDC's pitching this year is probably the toughest it's ever been, or toughest I've ever seen it been, because there's so many names like Seaver from Red River, who's really good. Like Luke Finn from West Fargo. I could just go on, but any team in the EDC could really beat any team. So it's really tough. And Horace, they got their dudes too.
Yeah. As you mentioned, you guys are familiar with Mandan, and this is a team that's also bringing in a decent amount of people from last year. I know they got a big arm on their staff as well. Have you had the opportunity to look at Mandan at all leading into that opening game?
I've been doing a little bit of looking online, trying to find some video. I know they got a guy, Jack Took, that's pretty solid. So probably got to plan around him a little bit. But yeah, this week I'm really going to dive into some film and try to get as much as I can on them and just try to prepare ourselves best we can too.
As a coach, what goes into preparing for a state tournament like this, knowing you have 3 high-pressure games in a row? And what goes into your mind when you look at this is how we want to base our pitching staff around, this is what we want our lineup to look at? Is it or just stick with what's been working throughout the regular season, or do things change at all going into this week?
I've been telling our boys that it's just like we're not going to change anything at this point. We're just going to keep playing our brand of baseball. Yeah, we'll maybe do a little bit of pitching, strategizing of who's going to throw what game. But, I think the boys kind of know what we're going to do and who's going to be pitching wins. So probably no surprises from us of what we're going to be doing defensively.
Do you guys feel like, even though you're the 3 seed from the East, you guys are probably a favorite in this tournament field? Is that a feeling on the team?
Yeah, we've been telling our boys all year long that this is a special team. Like, you guys have something that a team at South hasn't been able to do in a long time. But it's just being able to put it all together because we got all the pieces. We just got to continue to play good baseball.
Nathan Sillerud from Fargo South joining us on this Monday morning. I'll let you get back to it. I know you got a drive coming up and practice happening, so enjoy this week, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Nathan Sillerud from Fargo South here on a Monday morning. Class A baseball tournament coming up this weekend starting on Thursday. Fargo South, the 3 seed from the East against Mandan, the 2 seed from the West. That is going to be quite the ball game. I had the opportunity to do Class A baseball last season when it was up in Grand Forks, and as he mentioned, that South Mandan game was in the opening round, and just to see Caden Nelson and to see Jack Took, who he mentioned, Jack Took's a really good pitcher out of Mandan, throwing in low 90s range, maybe even approaching mid-90s at this point, but he is a stud on the bump as well. And I think he said it best. Every single team that is in the tournament field has a guy or 2 or 3 that are just studs. And we're not just talking North Dakota studs. These guys are national studs. West Fargo Horace, Kason Borkhardt's going to Oregon. Caden Nelson's going to Texas A&M. Jack Took has a good opportunity to go high-level Division I, in my opinion. I'm no expert by any means. West Fargo Cheyenne has a couple players going Division I. Hudson Dinger's going to North Dakota State. Minot last year had some really, really good talent, and they worked their way through the West Region Tournament. Minot North, I was talking with some guys on their coaching staff this last weekend in Bismarck at the Track and Field Championships. They've been having a phenomenal year, and their story's kind of similar to Horace Softball, a new team that is burst onto the scene and now is playing some really good baseball. They were a favorite out in the West this season to win that tournament. They came up just a little bit short, but have an opportunity to turn it on here. Bismarck is a team I'm really looking forward to learning about as this week goes on. I haven't had a chance to see them as of yet. But if I know anything about Bismarck athletics, they're going to be contenders. There's no doubt. So Bismarck will have that opening game against West Fargo. And as you heard Nathan mention about West Fargo, they got some great arms as well, and they put together a really good East Region tournament to knock off Fargo South and West Fargo Horace, teams that were 1 and 2 in the regular season, to win that East Region championship and be the 1 seed. So that's a little preview of the Class A baseball tournament coming up in Minot on Thursday, with Game 1 starting at 11:30. Couple of minutes left to go in the show. Let's take another break. When we come back, I do want to circle back to some cool things that happened over the weekend, like an update on our guy Tom Hoagie. Also, I'll attempt to chat about some racing, even though that's not my forte. But we'll get into that as this Monday morning edition of Hot Mic wraps up after this.